Now, what we're going to look at tonight, firstly, we're going to look at what makes effective lyrics and what makes good lyrics, what's the difference between good and bad lyrics, what are the signs of bad lyrics, and I'm going to be looking at my particular theory about how music and lyrics in particular can be good or bad, actually what makes them work, my ideas on that. Then I'm going to do a quick rundown of the three biggest problems, the three most common mistakes that I find when working with songwriters that they make in their lyric writing, and the ways you can overcome them, which is basically in most cases just not to do that thing that's bad rather than to work your way around it. And then we're going to look at, finally, and this will be the longest section of the presentation today, we're going to look at a theory called lyrical detachment, which is what separates, in my view, the best lyrics from everything else. The lyrics that really hit home, the lyrics that you really remember. What is it about those lyrics, as opposed to, you know, the million other songs that you know, that really pulls that apart? And I've got a theory on what that is, and I'm going to teach that to you, and there's going to be a couple of exercises around that so you can understand what I'm doing. Everybody's brought a guitar, which is excellent, which means you'll be able to sing your own songs rather than having me try and ad-lib it, which is what we usually do. The last two times I've done this presentation, what you're going to do is write some lyrics. The last two times we did this presentation, I had a professional singer with me who was doing the Greg role. They invited me to sing to teach at her vocal school, and they were all vocal students. And so we'd get people to write some lyrics, and then I would just play some chords and she would ad-lib it. It was great because she's brilliant. You've got me. And you know, winner of the 1999 James Hetfield lookalike contest. Yeah! So, first up, what makes lyrics good? What's the difference between good lyrics and bad lyrics? Now, I'm going to ask you a very difficult question here, but there's no wrong answers to this. Well, actually there is, because there's something in my head that I'm going to say, but there's more than one potential answer to this question, which is, what is the difference between communication and art? What is it that makes, what's the difference between a drawing and a great piece of art?
Arts make you think, you have to think to...
But a washing machine manual makes me think.
Something that invokes a reaction.
What kind of reaction?
An emotional.
Correct. Yeah, that is, I mean, I thought we were going to have a longer discussion on that. Yes, we got it right first time. The difference between, in my view at least, communication and art is that art gives you an emotional reaction. In specifically speaking, it is a way of transmitting emotion or content mixed with emotion from the artist to the audience, and that is the case in any kind of art, whether it's, you know, visual art or, in our case, music. So, and it has to be the emotion or set of emotions that the artist intended as well, because bad art promotes a different emotional reaction to the one that the artist intended. So, and bad lyrics do that as well. I don't know if anybody remembers a song called Life, which was by an R&B artist called Des'ree. Ooh, life, and it was voted in the 2007 BBC poll as having the worst lyrics of any song in history, and I find it very hard to disagree with that. Greg, if you're not familiar with this song, it does involve the second verse, and I'm not making this up at all, and this hit #1, and then went back into the top 10 2 years later. The second verse went, "I don't want to see a ghost, that's the sight I fear the most. I'd rather have a piece of toast and watch the evening news." Now, but again, Des'ree did not intend for that to be funny. It's not a comedy song, which is what makes the lyrics bad. Check though, if lyrics make you giggle, but they're supposed to make you giggle, then they're good. But she came up with some kind of, what she presumably thought was profound, and completely and utterly failed, because that emotional line running through the artist, into the art, into the audience, was completely broken because of how badly written the lyrics were. So when we talk about effective lyrics, that's why I use the word effective, because they have to have the effect that you want on the audience. And the main theme we're going to look at today is how to use emotional literacy and the understanding of imagery and emotion as opposed to information and communication to get your point across to your audience, whatever it happens to be. And also we're going to look at how you can extract meaningful emotion from just about any subject. And I do mean almost anything. And I'll have a couple of rather odd examples of things I can write a song about as well.